Hello there, my name's Yorke and I am the Llama Farmer. Today is llama moving day. They've been down in this field at the bottom of the valley most of winter. Pretty much obliterated it now. There's very little grass there for them to eat. I've been supplementing their feed with hay for a long time. Weather forecast says it's going to be getting pretty chilly in the next few days. These guys are pretty tough, but just for the sake of some of the younger ones, I want to keep an eye on them. So I'm going to move them up closer to the house. So that means moving them up the hill up there. Will involve going up a public road with 10 huge hairy beasts. So it could get interesting. Going to be doing it all by myself today. There's no one else around. Just to add to the challenge. I do like a challenge. Most of the time they're pretty good. They just go straight up the hill and into their pen. They know where they're going. They know where all their fields are. So fingers crossed. Should be an uneventful move. So how do you move llamas from one field to another along a public road? Well, with one of these is the short answer: a bucket of food and a bit of luck. I'm sure everything will be fine. If things go wrong, then my backup plan is this: a lead, which will involve capturing any errant llamas and hopefully escorting them back to their premises, but hopefully we won't need that. But always good to have a backup plan, a fail-safe backup plan. Nothing could go wrong. It'll all be fine. So I'm going to attempt the impossible, moving a herd of giant hairy beasts up a public road by myself in a freezing cold winter day and try and film it at the same time. So this will be interesting. I'll hopefully see you in a few minutes in one piece. Okay, everyone ready? Everyone ready to rock and roll? Yeah, good. Let's do this. Fingers crossed, hooves crossed, toes crossed. Let's go for it. Release the beasts. Here we go. Interesting. I think they know the way without me. Hopefully that's a good thing. Have you got any neck, Dylan? Up the road, boys. They know the way. Come on, boys. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Zoo, lead him in. Come on, little boy. Come on. Come. Good boys. Come on. Good boys. Seen him, Glorious? Hendrik. Come on. Where you been? In your own time, mate. Come on then, go. They're up there. Let's see. Chilled out boy. Right. Get in the field, please. Surprisingly, these big boys, who were the ones I thought we'd have an issue with, were all really good. Straight in. Oh no. Barcelonis. Good boy. That's it. Come on, go find the big boys. Go up Bella, being good for once. Only time in their lives. That's it. Go, go, my friend. Okay. Right, turn right. That's it. Get in there. Come on, clear off. Finally. 10 out of 10. So that went completely flawlessly. Llama's nice and close to the house now. I can look out the window in the morning and keep an eye on these guys, make sure they're okay. It's really nice to have them this close again. They've been down the valley for a good few months now. I go and check on them a couple of times a day, so I try and spend as much time on them as possible, but there's nothing like having them right outside your window. It's amazing. So most of the big guys absolutely fine in this weather. They're used to far colder. In the Andes, where they're originally from, you know, it would be much, much colder than it gets in Wales. My concern is with the younger ones. We've got four younger guys, Noah, Thelonious, Dylan and Hendrix, particularly Noah, because he's a Surrey llama, which is the long-haired llama. They're very thin fleece, very thin coats. They seem a bit more susceptible to the cold weather than the other guys who are very, very thick fleeces in general. Wales in particular has an interesting challenge for llamas in that although they're built for the cold and they're in their natural environment, they're used to the cold, what they don't tend to get in the Andes is the freezing temperatures and the damp. Wales is a very, very wet climate, being on the western side of Britain. So we get a lot of rain, which is fine normally. These guys will sit out in the rain oblivious to it for most of the year. But when temperatures drop below zero and you get the rain on top of that, that's when you can have dangerous situations. It's not something the animal's built for. So I like to keep an eye on them. The bigger ones, like I say, usually fine. It's the youngsters that I get a bit concerned with. I think Thelonious and Hendrix now, they're probably not too bad. They both have very, very thick coats and they're growing well. Hendrix is a little bit older than the others, and Thelonious, being an Argentine, he seems to be getting huge. He's much bigger than the others, and he seems a really good, healthy llama. Noah, as I say, is a Surrey llama, so he has that very, very thin coat, very long coat. And Dylan is a Tampoli llama, a woolly llama, but he doesn't seem as big and as strong as Thelonious. They're only a few days apart birth-wise, but different parents. And I noticed with some of the recent snow, I wouldn't say he was suffering, but he looked a bit more concerned than the other guys. So I was checking up on him quite often, keeping an eye on him and Noah. I wasn't too concerned with a bit of snow recently that we've had. Like I say, temperatures remained above zero, there was no rain, so once again, these guys are pretty oblivious to the weather. You know, you can come out and see frost on them sometimes or snow on their backs, and you think those poor creatures, but then you stick your hand underneath the coat and they're lovely and toasty and warm. They're so well insulated, the heat can't escape their coat, which is why the snow doesn't melt, it just stays on their backs. But underneath, they're lovely and warm. I was hoping not to bring these guys up here quite so soon. We're still in COVID lockdown here in Wales for the foreseeable, and I really wanted to rest these fields until at least the spring, or a month or two from now, just to give the ground a real good rest from big, huge, hairy animals walking over it and let the grass come through nicely. But I was just a little bit too concerned with the weather, and I miss them. It's just not the same when they're away from the house, so it's really nice having them back. Maybe just keep them up here for a week or so, just to let them have a little graze on the grass that's come through and keep them out of the worst temperature. They've got much more shelter up here. We've got better stables and a lot more tree cover and hedge cover, so it should keep them nice and toasty and warm, and I can just monitor the situation a lot easier. I think that's it for today. It is absolutely freezing out here. It's going to be dark soon, so I'm going to do the rounds, feed the animals and get inside before I freeze.